Farzad. You are listening to Not a Surf Live at the National. They're talking about their quarter century in the music business, the highs, the lows, the reinvention, the tenacity, the grit, the hustle. And I want to get at the decision, the executive decision that you guys made, this vision quest to take, what was it, a van across the country and sell merch. And if you had enough by the time you hit LA, I don't know if the story's apocryphal too, that you would burn your follow-on CD. True or false?
I had the idea and I sold it to these guys. I mean, we agreed that we could do it.
Whose van?
Did we buy the van at that point? We bought, which was probably not a great idea.
I don't remember. Well, we decided to make another record at the same studio where we'd made The Proximity Effect with the same producer. And we toured our way over there, and we didn't really know, we didn't have quite enough money to pay him, but we knew that if we sold enough merch, and so that was like, every night I would say, we have records and we have T-shirts and CDs, and if you buy one, you'll help us make the next record, and it's kind of what everybody does, but it felt great. After being in a sort of very corporate environment, to then be selling something ourselves, our version of The Proximity Effect that we put out,
So it was like a Neolithic crowdsourcing at the very end. And the legend is you showed up with lots of $1 bills and $5 bills. How did you find Barsuk?
Also, for example, I'll give you another example. Is that I made all kinds of virtual reality content for it. So it was like a mixed. It was like an enhanced CD. A part of it you could put in your computer, and then you would have all this extra stuff, including, you could tour through the studio and everything. And Elektra said that if we did that, they'd have to charge an extra $1. And I was like, what do you mean? I did everything. I had to rent a 185-degree fisheye lens to do the whole VR thing. Back then it was not, now you can do it with an iPhone. But back then it was a big deal. Yeah. Like $1 more, why? So the very first ones that came out on Elektra, because they did print like 10,000 of them or something, don't have the VR, whereas ours did, And then we got to LA, and then, it turns out that the studio had been booked by somebody that was on Sony, and so we were gonna have to wait. And then it turns out that by the time, like within that week, the band broke up.
The band broke up.
So, but they'd already paid the deposit on the studio.
So you got to get it for pennies on the dollar.
So basically, like, we just paid for the expenses. They actually made money in the end because they had the money from Sony, at least half of it. So we were lucky.